Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time since I posted a video, and I've actually been planning to post this video for quite a while. I'm going to do a video on how to make blueberry jam. And this summer, me and my children, we actually went to a blueberry farm and picked these blueberries so they are fresh, and I'm going to insert some videos of us doing that here. And let's get started.
Don't throw it so hard, it hurts. It smashed me in the face. I asked Tim on hold either.
I feel like Bubba would have had so much fun.
Take a bit?
Hang on.
How many we got? 4?
No, just us two, or
Two.
together in the middle of here.
So look, after you check out, make sure you untie those bags.
Okay, I did that because we got different kinds, so I did that so we could mark who was whose.
Well, look, I got a Sharpie. If you want to mark
Yeah.
them, mark the bag.
If you are new to canning and you've never canned any jam before ever, I have a video I'll link below that shows you step by step from the beginning, just the basics of canning and the supplies you'll need. But I'll try to also go over that some in this video just in case somebody's watching who's never canned anything before. But I'm hoping the people who are watching this already have and they're already hooked and they love it. But if you need some more detailed instructions, I'll link below a video I did on very beginner canning, and it shows you everything you need to get started. Right, ingredients first. You're gonna need 10 cups of blueberries. Blueberries. These look a little shiny and frosty because they actually just came out my freezer. They're fresh. We picked them, but I put them in the freezer until I was ready to put them in jam, or to make them into jam. I guess that's the right way to say that. You're gonna need 3 cups of sugar, just plain white sugar. And you're gonna need 1 packet of pectin. I'm gonna use this Sure Gel Premium. I cannot talk today. Sure Gel Premium Pectin. So when you open this, there'll be 1 envelope in there. We're gonna need that. You're gonna need about 6 to 7 jelly size mason jars. I think I've got 7 already sterilizing in my pot over here. So they'll be ready to go. And optional, you might want about half a teaspoon of butter, and I'll show you why you might want that in just a second. Okay, let's get started. I have a pretty deep saucepan here, and I've got it turned to medium heat. I'm going to put in my 10 cups of blueberries. By the way, my blueberries are already washed, and make sure there's no leaves or stems left on them. So that's 1, 2, 3. I found a leaf. I missed 1. 4. 5. I think I found another piece of stem. So make sure you don't have any of that in there. You don't want that in there. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So after they're all in there, you're gonna heat it up to medium heat and just kind of smush these berries a little bit. You're probably gonna have to wait till they get warm enough to smush real good, especially since mine came out the freezer. Let's let that heat up for a second. All right, we should be able to smush, yeah. Smush these down as much as you can. Once you have it looking about like that, it's time to add your pectin. You can smush it more if you want to, but that looks about good for me. That whole process for me took almost 20 minutes. It probably would not take you as long if your blueberries are not frozen when you start, but since mine were frozen, I had to wait for them to kind of warm up before I could start mushing them. All right, I'm about to add my packet of pectin. You're gonna add the entire envelope. Right into your blueberries. Take this guy out. Then you're gonna wanna bring it up to a boil. So I'm gonna turn it on high and bring this to a boil. And you want it to get to a full rolling boil. And a rolling boil is when it continues to bubble even if you're stirring it. So I'm gonna mix in all that pectin straight into the blueberries. Y'all hear that? That's my jars over here boiling. And when this gets to a rolling boil, I'm gonna do that for a few minutes and then we'll add the sugar. You want to stir it constantly as it's cooking because you do not want the bottom of your jam to burn. And if you're looking at this and you're not liking how it's chunky like that, then you probably would prefer to make the jelly. I'm going to link another video for how to make blueberry jelly, but blueberry jam still has the chunks and, you know, the skin and the seeds in it. Anyway, stir this constantly and wait till it gets to a boil. We are at a rolling boil now, and you'll see it's still bubbling. Even when I'm spinning it, it's still bubbling. At this point, if you've got foam starting to make around the top of your jam, you can add a half a teaspoon of butter in there to kind of reduce that foam. I'm really not seeing much in mine, so I'm not going to add any butter this time. Time to add the sugar. I'm gonna put all 3 cups of sugar right on in there and keep stirring. It's gonna kill your bowl for a second. You know, adding all this sugar is gonna calm it down. So you're gonna wanna wait until it comes back up to a boil. When it gets back up to a boil, we're gonna boil it for 1 minute. All right, we're at a full boil again. We're gonna boil this for 1 minute. Just gonna do a tiny here. There we go. You'll notice it's a lot more liquidy now. You don't see as much chunks as before, but they're still in there. We boiled it for 1 minute, and now we are going to want to turn our heat off. And I'm just going to slide it off of that burner. Now it's time to ladle your jam into your jars. You can pick these funnels up like this at Walmart. I'm gonna try to get my pot as close as I can so I don't have too much spillage. You want to put them in the jar while it's still really hot like this. And let me get that out the way. For jam, you want to fill it to 1/4 of an inch headspace, which would be this lowest one. So we've still got a ways to go. We can probably get another 1/2 scoop in this one. Yeah, it looks about right. I usually don't like to hold the jars like this when I'm filling it because the jar gets really hot really fast. But since this is such a messy jam, I'm suffering through it. We're gonna wipe the lids of these in just a second. There's a little bit more in that one. This guy over here. You know what? I'm actually gonna get a bigger jar. Let's try this size instead. 'Cause I still got a good bit left in here. Ooh. I think I went a little too far on that one. Guess we'll know in a minute. Let's just stick this guy over there. It's a good thing I made enough jars. This should be our last jar though. Oh, I got it on my towel. Okay. Once you have your jars all filled, excuse me. Let me take this out the way. You want to wipe off the top with a clean rag or napkin. If you have any jam or jelly around the top up here, you will not get a, that is super hot guys, you will not get a good seal. So you got to make sure this is all clean. It's hot, hot. All right, after your tops are all wiped off, it's time to put your rings and lids on them. These are all, I sterilized these all ahead of time. There we go. You only want to seal them to hand tightness. You don't need to make them super, super tight right now because when they go in the water bath cannon, that's when they're gonna get sealed tight. But you do want to make them, you know, hand tight right now. All of my jars are sealed and ready to go into the water bath canner. I'm not real sure why I'm mopping the water off because they're about to go in water, but I did it. All right. For the canning, let's get these all in here. When you're filling your rack like this up, you want to make sure that you're distributing the weight evenly because I've had mine flip over on me before while I'm filling it, so I try to make sure when I'm filling it, I fill it evenly on all sides. All right, now just lower it down in there. Looks like he wants to tip over. There we go. And you move him away from that handle. Alright. Cover it up. And you're going to want to wait till it gets to a full rolling boil. When it gets to that full rolling boil, say a gentle boil, not really a rolling boil. But you're going to want to boil it for jam. You're going to want to boil it in the water bath canner for 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer. I'm barely at a boil, so I'm going to set it for 15 just so it has a little longer to get to a full boil that I want. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. Okay, my timer has just gone off, so it is now time to take our jars of blueberry jam out of the canner. So let's do it. I need some gloves. Be right back. All right, let's get these out. Okie dokie. This is a tool you can also pick up at Walmart. It used to have this little black grip on both sides, but mine broke. It's all right, it still works just fine. But the other end has these rubber grips that fit right on the jar real good, make it real easy for pulling out of this hot water. I don't know if you could hear that on the camera, but one of these just popped. There's another one. And when you hear that pop sound, that's how you, another one. That's how you know your jars are sealed good. You want to hear that sound. That is like music to a canner's ears. I turn them a little bit like that just to kind of let some of that water fall off the top. Can you hear that popping? That popping is a good sound. You want to hear that popping. gonna take a dry paper towel and just wipe off the tops, just for any water that may have stayed on them from when I transferred them from the pot to over here. And you'll notice I put them on a towel. I didn't put them straight onto the counter because they're still hot, and you just want to put them on a soft towel instead. Now, as soon as all these are popped, you shouldn't be able to push the lid down and have it pop back. See, like when I push on that one, it does not pop back at all. That one doesn't. That one doesn't. Neither does that one. Yeah, so all of these are already sealed already. They all have made their pop. They all have a good seal, and they are done. Now you can make your own little labels and put on them. Also, these rings around the edges here, you don't have to leave those on. You can take those off, but you have to leave this seal that looks like this. You have to leave that part on. I leave my rings on anyway, but I know my grandma never did, and you don't have to. That's not required because this is what's actually sealed to the jar. But like I said, I like to leave my rings on anyway. Also, if you ever want to reuse these jars for canning again, you can, and you can reuse the rings, but you cannot reuse the lids. This seal right in here is a one-time use only according to the ball directions. But you can reuse your rings, but you need new seals every time you use the jars. And you can buy a pack of these just by themselves. Actually, I'll show you a pack. I have some. This is what the packs look like if you're just going to go buy just the sealing lids. And my mom actually picked up a whole bunch of these for me last year, I think. They were on clearance. Look, she got this whole box for 30 cents. But when you open them, you'll see they just have just the lids in there. So, here's a little tip. And if you get them when it's off season, maybe you'll find you a good deal, which we all know I'm all about that good deal. So this was 30 cents for 12 of them. And this was 40 cents for the 12 of them for the big wider mouths. The wider mouth jars, those are like the ones you do like spaghetti sauce in, pickles. The regular mouth is what we used here. All these are regular mouth lids. All right, you guys, so that sums it up for blueberry jam. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can always leave a comment down below. I am happy to answer questions. My email address is in the description box if you'd rather send me an email and ask me directly that way. But again, thanks for watching. See you next time.